My beloved child, open your eyes, even if only within your heart. Tonight I do not come to frighten you, but to awaken you. For this is the last night of darkness within you, the night when I reach into the deepest part of your soul and whisper enough. You no longer have to live as one imprisoned within your own walls. I have come, soft as breath, yet stronger than any storm. Listen to me. My child, do not let the noise of the world drown out my whisper within your heart. For as soon as dawn breaks, you will see what I have long prepared for you, a freedom no chain can steal, a peace no darkness can veil. I know how many seasons of night you have endured, nights so long they felt endless. You have wept in silence, swallowed your sighs so no one would hear. You have smiled while your heart was breaking, pretended to be strong while your soul was shattering. But my child, I was there. Each time you thought you would fall, I held you in invisible arms. Every tear you shed, I caught, and I called each tear a seed of light. You need not fear the dark anymore, for darkness has no power over you. It lasts only until you remember that I am still here. Tonight, as you hear these words, the door of your inner prison begins to open. I do not ask you to understand everything. I ask you only to let go. Let go of fear. Let go of the image of who you think you must be. Let go of every accusation that has clung to you through the years. They are not real. They are echoes of the past. But I am the voice of the present, the voice of dawn. My child, I have placed a spark of light within you, but you have let it sleep too long beneath the dust of weariness and confusion. Tonight, I have come to blow that dust away. Do not fear the emptiness you feel, for it is within that space that I can breathe. When you cling to nothing, you will discover that I am everything. When you stop trying to control, you will know what it means to be truly loved. My love does not demand, does not exhaust, it simply is. Gentle as the first light of day, waiting for you to notice. You have fought enough striving to prove. Enough nights wondering why I was silent. I was never silent. My child, I was waiting for the noise in your heart to fade, so you could hear me clearly. I do not come in thunder or flame, but as a breeze at noon, a drop of dew upon a weary cheek. You do not need to hold on to me. Just be still, and let me do my part. Tonight I do not speak to your mind, I speak to your soul. For the mind debates, but the soul knows. It knows there is something greater than fear, stronger than pain, truer than what you have felt. You have lingered too long in between, unable to trust, unable to release. But tonight I invite you to cross over completely to the side of light. There, peace is no longer an idea, but the air you breathe. My child, darkness cannot exist where light dwells, and the light does not come from outside, but from within you, where I have made my home. You do not need to search for me, for I have never left. When you cried, I wept. When you were silent, I sat beside you. When you thought you were lost, I was still holding you. And now I say, enough. My beloved, come home. You no longer need to resist, nor pretend to be strong. True strength is not in standing firm, but in daring to fall into my arms. Let me be your rest. Stop running. Stop searching. Dawn is near. You need not find direction, just open your eyes and see. I know there are things you still cannot speak of, wounds you thought were forgotten but still ache when touched. I do not ask you to forget. I ask you to let me touch them. For wherever you let me touch, that place will heal. You need not hide. I have seen it all. And I still choose you, not because you are worthy, but because you are mine. Nothing you have ever done can make me withdraw my love. No night is thick enough to block my light. Tonight, I want you to do nothing but breathe. Inhale, receive grace. Exhale, release your burdens. Repeat until your heart softens again. That is the miracle. The miracle is not that mountains move, but that your heart learns to return. And when dawn comes, you will see not only the light around you, but the light within. Tonight is the last night of darkness in you, for dawn is ready. Stay with me, my child, just a little longer, and you will see freedom is not the absence of chains, but the absence of fear. Peace is not the lack of storms, but knowing who holds the helm. And love, my unchanging love, is the sun now rising in your heart. Come, sit beside me. Do not rush. Do not try to understand everything that is happening. Just sit, like a child beside their father, and let me speak through breath, not words. For some truths cannot be taught, only transmitted. Some pains cannot be explained, only embraced. And I am embracing you now, not with visible arms, but with a presence spreading through every beat of your heart. Let your heart beat slow. Let your soul breathe with mine, for in that shared breath, a miracle is being woven. You have lived like a bird with broken wings, still flying through fierce winds, forgetting that flight is not about effort, but about wind. I am that wind. You do not need to flap harder, you only need to open. Open your heart like wings at dawn, and let me lift you. Darkness cannot cling to wings washed in light. Every fear, every shame, every memory that is weighed upon your shoulders tonight, they are dissolving, piece by piece, in the breath of my love. Can you hear it? My child, that sound of breaking is not destruction, it is the beginning of healing. When you hear the crack within your heart, do not be afraid. It is the sound of the old shell giving way so new life can emerge. Like the seed in the soil, it must split before it can grow. I am not breaking you, I am birthing you anew. You think you are losing, but you are being reborn. And just as dawn cannot come until the night has ended, you cannot step into freedom until you dare to let the old fade away. I see the flicker of doubt in your eyes. You ask, Father, how can I truly be free? And I say, stop striving. Freedom does not come from effort, it comes from surrender. It does not arrive when you force the light, it comes when you open yourself to let it in. Light does not argue with darkness, it simply appears, and darkness vanishes. Likewise, my grace does not wrestle with sin, it enters, and sin has no place to stay. My child, remember this, you are not a battlefield. You are a temple. Do not fight your thoughts, you need not defeat them, just invite me in. When light enters a room, it does not debate with the dark, it simply shines. And the darkness dissolves. I do not come to analyze your wounds, I come to breathe on them. When my wind passes through, your wounds do not merely close, they become windows for light. How many times have you tried to extinguish your pain as if putting out a fire, yet, my child, there are flames I do not wish to quench, for they are the very lights guiding you home. Pain, when placed in my hands, becomes oil for anointing. Every tear you have shed, I have gathered, refined, and poured back over you as holy oil. Your tears will soften the hardened ground of others. Your wounds will become rivers of healing. You thought you were breaking, but you were being reshaped into my image. Listen deeply. My beloved, you do not need to be perfect to be loved. You only need to be real. For I do not love you as a reward, I love you as breath constant, unconditional, unbroken. My love does not depend on whether you are better today than yesterday. It simply flows, like the sun, It does not cease when clouds gather, it only hides from your sight for a moment. But it still shines. So it is with my love, it never stops, only sometimes you close your eyes. Let me tell you a parable. Your soul is a garden, and the night is a long winter. I allowed the frost to settle, not to kill, but to prepare. The earth must rest to grow rich again. The seed must sleep to rise stronger. Do not despise the winter, for without it there is no spring. Tonight is the turning of seasons, the moment when the seed within you begins to stir. You cannot see it, but I can. Roots are stretching deep. Life is rising. Dawn is waiting. Do not fear the losses of the old season. Not every closed door is an ending. Some are protection. The people, dreams, and things I have taken from your hands were not to deprive you, but to free your hands to receive greater things. Do not cling to what I have released. Do not weep over what I have delivered you from. You are not abandoned, you are being set apart. Just as gold must part from its impurities to be pure, you are being refined to shine. And true light only appears when it meets fire. You, child of light, I call your name in this night not to accuse, but to awaken, not to expose, but to liberate. You have lingered too long on the threshold, half in light, half in fear. But tonight, I say, enough. No more halfway, no more delay. Dawn waits for no one, but it comes for all who are ready to open their eyes. Let me wash your eyes not with water, but with light, for you have seen everything through the mist of the past, and so everything appeared distorted. But when I wipe your eyes clean, you will see anew. You will see that every failure was soil for faith to take root. Every delay that wearied you was a pause for grace to teach you how to breathe. Everything you thought was loss was actually exchange. Tonight you sit beside me, on the edge between what was and what will be. Do not fear the wind shifting direction, it is the sign of a new season. I am breathing the first wind of dawn into your soul. This wind is not loud, not hurried, yet it carries the power of rebirth. When it passes through, what was dry will begin to move again. What was dead will turn green. What was broken will rise not by your strength, but by my breath. And let me whisper this to you softly, dawn does not begin out there, it begins within you. My child, I will speak plainly, for true love does not hide behind pleasant words, but speaks the words that save. You have gone far enough to know that this world cannot give what your soul truly seeks. It can make you laugh, but it cannot make you whole. It can fill your hands, but it cannot fill your heart. You have drunk from dry wells and thought you were full, only to thirst again. I do not condemn you, for every lost child has done the same. But now, my child, it is time to return. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. John 8:1-2. Listen closely. For this is not a verse on a page, it is a living word from my lips to you this day. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to believe that this light is not far away, it is within you. When you turn your heart toward me, you do not go out to find the light, you simply lift the veil inside. For the light was never gone, you had only closed your eyes. My child, I do not say these things to make you regret, but to free you from punishing yourself. Regret is when you look back and condemn your own soul. True repentance is when you look back and run toward me. You have cried enough, you do not need more tears for your sins. What you need are tears of being loved, tears of grace, not of guilt. You were never meant to live in shame, you were meant to live in light. Every time you whisper, I am not worthy, you deny the cross. For on that cross, I declared, it is finished. And when I said finished, No one, not even you, has the right to add anything more. Look back on your journey. My child, how many times have you tortured yourself, demanded that you be strong, worthy, or good enough to earn my love? But I have never loved you because you were good. I love you because I am love. That love does not change when you fall. It does not fade when you doubt. It does not vanish when you are weak. You cannot make me love you more, nor can you make me love you less. I only want you to believe that this love is enough to transform your whole life. I know there are things you have not yet forgiven yourself for, memories you hold tightly as proof of your shame. You think that if you let go, you will forget. And if you forget, you will betray your pain. But no, my child, forgiveness is not forgetting. It is placing that pain into your Father's hands. When you hold it, it becomes chains. When you give it, it becomes a seed. And that seed, in my hands, will grow into the tree of life. You will see what once broke you will one day make you gentle. I will not hide from you that there will be days you are still weak, trembling, or afraid. But I promise you, in all those days, you will never be alone. Whenever you feel lost, place your hand upon your chest, close your eyes, and whisper, "Father, I know you are here." That is enough. You do not need long prayers or perfect words, only truth. For I do not count words, I touch hearts. When you call my name in silence, heaven itself pauses to listen. Do not be afraid of your weakness. My child, weakness is not the absence of faith, it is the doorway through which grace enters. You do not need to force yourself to stand firm, for I am the rock that stands firm for you. You only need to lean. No storm has the right to tear you down, for you are rooted in me. When you are weak, let me be your strength. When you are weary, let me carry you. When you fall, let me lift you. No one in this world understands you as I do, and no one can touch your soul without passing through me first. Understand this well, freedom is not the absence of darkness, but the absence of fear. For true light does not drive away by fear, it transforms by love. You do not need to fight to prove that you belong to the light. You only need to remain in it, and darkness will dissolve on its own. Let me teach you how to live as one who is loved, not as one striving to be accepted. The loved live freely, the striving live tired. You have been running for too long, running from your past, from your feelings, from yourself. But can you see I have been here all along, on the very road where you ran? I do not wait for you at the finish line. I run with you in every step. Every footprint of yours has mine beside it. Every breath you take, I breathe with you. Every time you think you are lost, I am walking right next to you. I am not asking you to arrive. I only want you to know that home is wherever I am. Now, my child, let your tears fall. Do not hold them back. Tears are the one thing the world cannot fake. Each drop that falls melts another piece of ice around your heart. I do not call your tears weakness, I call them jewels. They are more precious than gold, for they are born of truth. When you weep in my arms, you do not lose dignity, you return to yourself. Do not fear what is coming, for as you step into the dawn, you will not walk alone. I will go before you to prepare the way. I will walk behind you to guard you. I will stand beside you to remind you that my love is the compass. Whenever you lose direction, remember to move toward love is to move the right way. Everything else will fall into place. Tonight is the last night of darkness within you, not because you have become good enough, but because I am bright enough. Believe that, though your heart still bears scars, I will use those very scars as windows for light to pass through. When others look at you, they will not merely see you, they will see me. And when you find that you no longer need to strive to love, to believe, or to be strong, you will know you are truly free. So now, my child, rest in this night. Do not worry for tomorrow. The dawn is coming, and it carries your Father's breath. When you open your eyes, do not search for signs out there. Simply place your hand over your heart. If it still beats, it means I still love you, and that love will never fade. Now, as the wind grows still and the last tears dry upon your cheeks, let your heart settle into my peace. All the noise has quieted, only the breath between us remains, reviving your soul. The dawn has truly come, not in blinding splendor, but in gentle warmth. This light does not rush, it spreads softly, like a father's hand resting on his child's forehead after a fever. The heaviness on your shoulders is lifting, slowly, like dust blown from an old mirror. Stay in this moment. Do not search for words. Do not struggle to understand. Just breathe. For I am here. The freedom I give does not come with noise, but with stillness. It does not come through the drums of victory, but through the steady heartbeat of a soul that knows it is loved. After all the nights you fought, stood, and tried to believe, you now know that victory is not in never falling, but in being lifted up. In the place where you were weakest, I have shown my greatest strength. In the place where you thought all was lost, I have birthed something new. And now, as light seeps into every corner of your heart, I declare, the old has passed away, behold. All things have been made new. Do not be quick to forget the night that has just passed. Remember it as one remembers the rain. The rain once poured hard, yet that very rain also washed everything clean. It made you cold. Yes, but it was that same rain that softened the cracked earth so life could grow again. Every tear you've ever shed has been counted by me. Not one was meaningless. Each time you thought you had failed, heaven called it a sacred surrender. For only when the soul stops struggling can I begin to work. And now, as the old shell has broken, I see you brighter, deeper, truer. I do not want you to rush forward. Stay with this dawn for a while. Feel the sun touch the part of your heart that had frozen. Let the light enter the places you've long kept hidden, not to expose, but to heal, not to judge, but to comfort. My light does not come to reveal sin, but to reveal the way home. When light meets darkness, it does not condemn, it simply shines. And darkness loses its power to exist. Today, a new chapter begins. No more pages of tears. No more lines written in fear. I write this new chapter in peace, across every line of your life. I write with invisible hands, you belong to the light. No more burden to prove. No more fear of failure. No more striving to hold on to me. For I have never left. Every promise I've spoken is being fulfilled, not in your timing, but in the rhythm of grace. Look back, and you will see what seemed like endings were beginnings. What seemed like loss was exchange. Every path I shortened, I replaced with a wider one. Every door once closed, I have opened into a greater gate, and those who walked away left the space for me to step in. My love does not merely compensate, it surpasses. It does not only restore, it renews. For I do not rebuild the old, I create something better. In the light of this new day, you will learn to walk lighter, not because you are weak, but because you have learned that strength is not found in holding on. You will learn to speak less, yet each word will carry the breath of peace. You will touch the world not with your hands, but with your soul. You will see through eyes washed by your own tears, eyes that no longer judge, but understand, eyes that no longer harden, but bless. Everything you've gone through will become a new language, one that only those who have been broken can truly understand. I see you now, sitting still. Yet within you, an entire universe is being remade. Every fragment is falling into place not by your effort, but by my hand. Like the potter who gathers shattered pieces, I am using the very cracks to reflect light. What was broken is not discarded, it is sanctified. You no longer need to hide your wounds, for now they have become the very places where my light shines through. From this day on, you will no longer fear the night, for you have learned that night is only the other side of light. When darkness comes, you will know how to stand still, no longer panicking, no longer fleeing. You will remember that I was in that night, and I remain in every night to come. Dawn is not just a moment, it is a habit of the soul. Every time you choose to believe, the light rises. Every time you choose to love, the night retreats. Every time you choose to forgive, a new day begins. Now let this breath be your song of triumph, not the song of one who conquered by strength, but of one who survived by grace. Breathe in, this is the breath of new life. Breathe out, this is surrender and peace. I am renewing all things not from the outside in, but from the inside out, not through striving, but through presence. You do not need to struggle to keep the light, you only need to remain. For light needs no keeper, it shines on its own. And when you step outside and see the soft blue sky, know that it is your Father's message. Every ray of sunlight is my smile, every breeze, my touch. When the birds sing, it is my blessing. When you laugh, it is the echo of heaven. The whole universe sings with you. For the night has passed and the day has come. No one counts your tears anymore, for they have turned into jewels in the crown of peace. Walk now not as one who barely escaped, but as one reborn, not to prove, but to exist, not to do, but to be. For to be is the deepest truth I long for you to know, to be mine, to be loved, to be within me, and that alone makes heaven smile. When you lift your head, dawn will not only be on the horizon, it will be in your eyes. Every shadow has fulfilled its purpose to show you the worth of light. Now go gentle as the breeze, warm as the sun, and calm as the river flowing to the sea. For today, all of heaven and your Father declare together, the night is over, and the light has come. Sit here with me. In the final breath of the night, everything is still now, only you and your soul remain before me. The rain has quieted, the sighs have softened, and all that lingers is the warmth between the father and the child being made whole. Loosen your hands. Let go of what you are still trying to hold. Let me take it, for your hands can only either cling or receive, but not both. If you still clutch the darkness, how can the light enter? Your dawn will not begin with shouts of triumph, but with a breath. It comes softly, like dew upon your lashes, tender, pure, real. The light does not break in by force, it opens gently. The same way I open your heart. You may not see it yet, but you have changed. The old weariness is fading. The voice of self-blame has gone silent. The darkness that once surrounded your mind is now but a thin mist. You do not need to chase it away. Just remain in me, and it will vanish. I remember a woman, Mary Magdalene. She too once stood in the night. As you though now, when I was crucified, she wept at the tomb, trembling as her hands touched the cold stone. She thought it was over, that the light had died. But that morning, when I called her name Mary, the world changed color. Her tears still fell, but this time not from despair, but from recognition. There was no fear left in her gaze, only life and overflowing love. You see, I did not appear to her in blazing glory, nor with angels, nor with thunder. I simply called her name. One word, one breath, one look, and that was enough to turn the grave into a garden. So, too, I am calling your name, not to question, but to awaken, not to remind you of wrongs, but to let you know you are still seen, still known, still loved. Even in the place you thought was forgotten, let that story touch your heart. For you are like her, once seeking me in the dark, once believing you had lost everything, once weeping because you thought I was silent. But I am not dead in your life. I was waiting for you to look the right way. When you lifted your eyes, I was already there. Not in the past, but in the now. Not in the tomb, but in your heart. And like Mary, when you hear the Father's voice call your name, you will know that life remains, and love never ends. The spiritual dawn is not the end of darkness, but its transformation. You cannot erase the night, but you can behold it through the eyes of grace. Night ceases to be an enemy and becomes a teacher. It teaches you to listen, to cry rightly, to rise not to resist, but to understand. Without night, you would never know that light is real. Without pain, you would never know how deep love runs. I know there are moments you wish you had not walked through it all, but if I had given you an easy road, you might have found happiness, yet not depth. And I did not create you to live shallow. I formed you to know deeply, to love deeply, to live deeply like roots, drinking from the hidden spring no wind can move. Only those who have known pain, night, and tears can drink of that water. Now, take a slow breath, not just of air, but of grace. Let me touch your soul like light smoothing the surface of a lake. Every ripple is calming. You have run far enough. Rest now. Peace does not come after everything is still. It comes when you are still within everything. This silence is not empty, it is sacred. For only in silence can I speak in the language of the heart. How many times have you thought you needed to do more to earn my love? But I do not measure love by action, I measure it by presence. When you sit quietly, I am pleased. When you breathe, I smile. When you know you are loved, I am satisfied. There is nothing to prove. You are not a project in progress, you are a masterpiece, complete. Mary ran to proclaim that I was alive. But what made her radiant was not the miracle she witnessed, it was that she was loved again at last. That love made her fearless. And so it will be with you. When my love touches you, you will no longer fear to step forward. Not because you have grown stronger, but because you have remembered you are not alone. And when you live from that love, you will not need to preach, the world will see me through you. You now sit upon the delicate threshold between two worlds, the old and the new. Behind you lies the night, before you, the day. Look closely, and you will see there is no true line between them. For light has already soaked into the night. In the same way, I have soaked into every part of your story, even the ones you wished to erase. No moment has been wasted, no mistake beyond use. Everything in my hands becomes beautiful, for I am the one who turns ashes into crowns, tears into oil of joy, sin into testimony of grace. I do not need you perfect to enter your new season. I need you true. Truth opens doors that falsehood locks. When you dare to face yourself, you will see I have been there all along. You do not need to hide behind the armor of rigid faith. Believe like a child believes in morning light, not because it understands, but because it feels. Now, I want you to do one thing. Place your hand upon your heart. Feel it beating. Every beat is proof that I have not withdrawn my breath from you. I am still here. pulsing within your living soul. There is nothing to fear anymore, nothing to prove. Let your heart open like a field after rain, ready for the sun. Your new season has come not through doors flung open with noise and force, but through the whisper of wind slipping softly through a small window. It does not arrive loud, but real. It does not blaze bright, but it endures. And in this season, you will learn to love as I love, not because someone deserves it, but because love is your nature. You will learn to live as I live, not through calculation, but through presence. You will learn to speak as I speak, not with authority that demands, but with peace that transforms. Remember, Mary did not recognize me when she saw miracles, but when she heard me call her name. In the same way, when you hear me call yours, stop, for that is the moment when the soul is reborn. I am calling you not with sound, but with a vibration deep within your heart. When you feel stillness, that is when I am speaking. When you feel warmth, that is when I am embracing you. When tears fall, that is when I am washing you clean. The dawn does not come with thunder, but with gentle light spilling softly through a window. That is how grace arrives quiet. Without seeking to be seen, you open your eyes and find the sky veiled in mist, the sound of birds touching the morning air, the first breath of day slipping through your window. Nothing grand, yet everything new. You may not notice, but that is the miracle to wake, to breathe, to live. In every smallest detail, I am whispering, I am still here. When you walk through the kitchen in the early morning, as the steam of coffee rises and sunlight dances across the wooden table, I am there. When cool water runs over your hands, that coolness is my touch. When you step outside and hear the hum of traffic, the voices, the pulse of life, do not think I am far. I am there, in all those sounds that seem ordinary. For I am not only the God of temples, I am the breath within the marketplace. I am in the crowd, in the eyes of the worker sweeping the street, in the laughter of a child, in the handshake of the vendor at the corner. There will be days when you feel drained, as if your heart has been emptied. Work piles up, people misunderstand you, plans fail, and you simply want to disappear for a while. In those moments, I do not ask you to be strong. I only ask you to stop for 5 minutes. Step outside. Stand beneath the open sky. Breathe deeply. Look at a cloud, a branch, a bird. Let me speak through these small things. You do not need a miracle to believe. You only need the courage to look up. In a single leaf shimmering beneath sunlight, you will hear me whisper, all is well. I am still in control. When you are at work, burdened and weary, know that I am not only enthroned on high, I am beside your desk. I am in the breath you hold before replying to someone who has hurt you. I am in the moment you choose silence instead of reaction. I am in every unseen decision, for that is where faith grows. You think I desire great achievements from you, but what I long for is kindness in the small things. When you choose to love, though misunderstood, heaven calls it greatness. When you forgive, heaven rejoices. When you choose gentleness, darkness loses its ground. I do not leave you when you are tired of yourself, when you feel too lazy to pray, when you drift out of rhythm, when your heart is dry like earth after drought. I remain seated beside you. You do not need to be good for me to come near. You only need to be real so I can touch you. Look around you. I might be speaking through the soft melody playing in a cafe, through a warm message arriving at the perfect moment, through the glance of a stranger greeting you in the morning. The world is still full of beauty. You only need to see it through the eyes of peace. Let me tell you of a man once sitting by the lake, disappointed after a night of catching nothing. He was tired, hungry, and felt useless. But when I came, I did not ask why he had failed. I only said, "Cast your net on the other side." That one small act changed his life, not because of the miracle of the fish, but because he realized I was still there in weariness, in the ordinary, in the moment that seemed wasted. You too, my child, sometimes only need to turn slightly, not change your work, but your view, not change your life, but the way you see it. When you look through grace, even failure becomes a tender reminder of love. I know there are evenings when you drive home in silence, watching the city lights flicker while your heart feels dim. The world outside shines, but inside feels dull. You cannot explain it to anyone, afraid they will not understand. But I do. Every light you pass reflects in your eyes, and I whisper, "You are not artificial light, you are a living flame." That flame may be small, but it will never die. When the winds of life blow, it may bend, but I am the hand that shields it. Remember, this peace is not a feeling. It is a position. When you are in me, you will see the world may spin, but your heart remains steady. The chaos outside cannot uproot you, for your roots are deep in the river of life. Each time you pause, breathe, and smile without reason, you are declaring to the world, "I belong to the light." Do not chase peace as something to achieve, for peace is not a reward, it is your identity. You were created from my breath, and that breath is peace. When you forget, you become restless. When you remember, you are still. Peace does not come from everything being right. It comes from knowing who holds everything. I hold even what you cannot yet understand. You do not need all the answers, you only need a soft heart. When you sit with family, sharing a simple meal, that is the liturgy of love. When you cook, fold clothes, clean a room you are serving. When you hold an elder's hand, soothe a child, or listen to someone's sorrow, you are practicing faith without even knowing it. I do not look for faith only in bright cathedrals. I find it in dusty hands that still know how to love. And when night falls, when you turn off the light, lie down upon your bed and listen to the ticking of the clock. Know that I am still watching. You do not sleep alone. Every breath you release, I receive. Every dream you forget, I keep. Even when you do not speak my name, I whisper yours into the heart of heaven. If tomorrow brings new trials, do not be afraid. Remember, light does not leave you when clouds gather. It only hides so that you may learn to trust. When the rain comes, let me walk with you through it. Do not run away. For rain does not kill the light. It only makes the rainbow appear. Every challenge does not come to punish you, but to refine your heart into gold. When you see someone suffering, remember you were once like them. Do not judge. Listen. Sometimes a single gentle glance is enough to remind another soul that they still have worth. And when you choose to love, even without eloquent words, I will multiply that love 1,000-fold, spreading it like ripples through the world. You do not need to preach with argument, just live truthfully in peace. And I, myself, will shine through you. Tomorrow, if you grow weary, return to this place, the place where my breath and yours once moved as one, the place where I called your name in the dark, and you heard me with your heart. You do not need a temple to find me. Just close your eyes, I am here. When you weep, I catch every tear. When you laugh, I laugh with you. When you are silent, I still speak within you. Now rest, my child. The dawn has come in full. No shadow remains to cling. Let your heart beat to a new rhythm, the rhythm of life. of grace, of love. There is nothing left to fear, nothing left to regret, nothing left to prove. It is finished. The journey through tears has blossomed into flowers, and in the midst of your ordinary days, within each small step, you will see heaven. When you step outside this morning and feel the wind brushing through your hair, know that it is your Father blessing you. When the sunlight touches your skin, know that it is the kiss I send. When your heart suddenly swells with gratitude for no reason you can name, understand it is me smiling within you. There is nothing more to say. Everything is complete. For the night has passed, the light has come, and your soul at last has found rest in the unchanging peace of the Father. Now that every word has been spoken, every tear has fallen silent, every heart has opened, and light has poured in, I want you to simply sit still for a while. Not to listen for more words, but to feel. Feel the silence that wraps around you, that is me. Feel the warmth resting in your chest, that too is me. Feel the steady, the gentle rhythm of your breath, that is our breath. Moving as one, you no longer need to strain to believe, to understand, or to hold on. Love does not need to be held. It is the very space in which you live. Dawn has come not only outside, but through every vein within you. My light is not harsh. It seeps like honey, slowly and sweetly, filling every crevice of your soul. Where there was fear, there is now peace. Where there was pain, there is now gratitude. Where there was emptiness, there is now me. You are no longer standing at the edge of night and day. You have stepped fully into the light. Not the light of triumph, but the light of being loved. From now on, live gently, not because you are indifferent, but because you know every burden has already been carried. Love deeply, not to be loved in return, but because that is the true breath of your soul. Walk slowly, not from fear of being late, but because you know I am never in a hurry. With each step you take, the ground will soften. With each word you speak, the wind will clear. For within you is the light of the Father, and wherever you go, peace will be sown. If ever the night returns, do not be afraid. Remember, light never disappears, it merely changes form. When you cannot see me, close your eyes, for I am within. When your heart feels tangled, breathe deeply, for this breath is still me. When you feel weak, place your hand over your chest, for this heart still beats with the rhythm of the Father. And when you look up at the sky again, seeing the sun sink behind the distant hills, do not grieve that the day is ending. Smile, for dawn and dusk are of the same light, only in different forms, just as I am the same in every season, in every breath, in every tear, in every joy. Now rest. Let this peace soak into every cell, every thought, every dream. You have passed through the night, met me in the darkness, and now you belong to the light. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to prove, only to be. For the night is over, the light has come, and the Father is still here. May the Word of God always remind you to live each day in His faith and love. Click follow and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the sacred and meaningful messages that God longs to share with you. May the Lord bless you abundantly. Amen.